All right. Well, today on the bench, we got bag F, the monster truck build. Um, Up to now, we've built the rear end. We've built the front end gearbox and shock tower. So now let's move on to building the rest of the front end. I think I'm going to get the manual for this because there are some very different parts in the monster truck kit from the race kits. And I see that in the spindles and things like that already. I'm going to need some instruction here, I'm afraid, because I've never built these before. These are all new to me. They look nice, though. Nice and beefy. What else do we have here? Rods and ends. Okay. Let's get the book. Bag F. Here we go. So this has us putting hinge pin braces in the box and the arms on the truck or on the gearbox. So let's start with that. These arms are solid. I mean, nice. Hinge pins for the spindles. Screws and pins there. That tries. Again, these hinge pin braces are solid. I'm really impressed. Just as a little bit of a reminder, I'm kind of keeping extra parts up here, just out of the way. And I might actually swap these hubs out for larger ones, as I know that my monster truck wheels are going to be offset too much, is my guess. So I'll probably swap these out. I didn't do that on the rears, but I can do that later. I'll show you how it's done in the process. Okay. Hinge pins, hinge pin braces. And we're going to need 2 of the 14mm screws. And it calls for a temporary screw and a silver that we'll use in the front hinge pin brace until we get that together. Mm-hmm. And these are going into plastic, just 2 fingers tight, you know, get it nice and snug, and just get it until you can only use 2 fingers, get it snug. And we'll put our hinge pins in, and maybe we do the arms at the same time. Or do the hinge pin. Nope, they can slide right on with the pins in place. That's nice. These are backwards. Then we just put the front block on and put this screw temporarily. This is just in place until we get it together, and then my understanding is we'll then put the front bumper on in its place. So that takes care of that. I guess we get into the spindle build. These screws. Do I have 4mm offset hubs? Let's see. These are all one. Well, I'm certain I have 4mm hexes somewhere. Aha. Aha. These are they. Yeah. You'll note you can see the offset by the amount of dots that go around the outside of the face of the hex. So it looks like, I don't know if you can kind of see better there. You see the 4 dots. That means it's 4mm offset. The other ones will have, so 1mm, and this is the offset from the hub. So yeah, so these are the right ones. We won't need these pins if we have extras in the kit, right? So let's put these hubs here and take these 2mm hubs out. We'll use those for something else another day. All right. These are for a future build. We're going to do something fun. A little bit of a Chris Allison inspired build on a Tekno kit. Should be fun. Okay, so these spindle carriers, huh? To right and left. Yeah. So we just make both. Okay. So we get a bearing in either end, and these shoulder bearings on the outside. And then universal outdrive's nice. Go there. You press it to make sure that the bearing is sat. Then we'll put our hub on. And then one of these pins will sit in the hole. And that's basically your drive pin. And then you'll use one of these set screws, as I can find it. Where's my set screw? Ah. So one of these set screws. Some thread lock. You run that in. You know me, run it back out, run it back in, and then you'll get a wheel wrench. Lock your hex up with the wheel wrench, and then you can tighten your set screw down. These are used hexes, so they're a little banged up, but you know they'll still run. Same thing on the other side. We're going to need an out drive. We're going to need a bearing. Give that a press to make sure the bearing's all the way sat in there. Took a little bit of force, so make sure you give it a good push. We'll take our hex. And our drive pin. Again, you want that, there's a little saddle in the drive pin. You want that saddle to face up, and that saddle is where the set screw is going to sort of ride. So yeah, drive it in, back out, in just to make sure the Loctite gets everywhere. Get your wheel wrench again. Crank that thing down pretty tight. I'll make sure again, those things never come out without your permission. Ever. Sometimes you'll have, I think I mentioned this before, but sometimes you'll have wheels that won't cover those pins. And if that set screw comes out, the pin will come out and it'll be lost, and you'll lose the hex in the wheel, and your race is over if you're racing, and your day's over if you're bashing, right? All right, so that gets us the drives built. What's next? This is going to be, again, making a left and right assembly here. Is there an indicator left or right on these? No. But I'm going to guess they only go one way. Like that, right? With the drive shaft through the center. Other way. Doesn't seem right either, does it? Let's see. It looks like the arm will stick out. Then these ears go to the top. And it goes like this. It doesn't give you much steering, does it? No. That must be backwards. That doesn't give you much steering that way either. What am I doing wrong? Oh, that's the ticket. That's the ticket. Okay. So these arms sort of swing along this chamfered edge here, like that. And stop there too. That's nice. Okay. Let's put this together that way then. Let me just set the other one up so I won't forget as I go back to it, right? All right. So now we go and take, it looks like, one of these pins. 9644. Hmm. Which of these pins? Oh, I guess there's 4, so it'll be these, right? Okay, yeah. Looks like these 4 pins. And they look like they're flat on one side, so they're probably directional some way. It looks like they face the outside of the car. So those go in. And I'm going to say that flat faces outside of the car. And then these strange set screws come in, and I'll actually go through that pin, is the way I understand it. Yeah. What is that, a 2 mil or a 1.5? It's a 1.5. Yeah, that's interesting. So this like sort of set screw drives through that pin, which holds the whole hinge together. Pretty clever. I see. So it could come through it looks like it could come through the back and interfere with the steering, but it has not in either case. I wonder if I should just keep driving them until they do. And then I'll drive it till it meets and then back it out a little bit, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. There it is, right there on the edge, and then I'll just back it out a touch. So those go in pretty far, actually. And I guess what's nice is when you put it back in, all the way back in, it engages the back of the pin with the carrier as well, so you have more strength there. Very nice. This is clever. I don't like it for a racer, but for a monster truck, man, this seems like it would be incredibly durable. Using those pins to hold these pins, and just rotating everything on the man. It feels nice, plastic solid, good stuff. Yeah, these are cool. I think somebody asked for my opinion on these, and I hadn't gotten to this bag yet, so I didn't really have one. I wasn't really aware of how these things worked. But now that I'm here, I have to say, I like it. I mean, again, I wouldn't like this for my racer. You know, I like having, tunability and bearings and all that good stuff, right? But for a monster truck, this makes tons of sense to me. Yeah, I want to get it in until I can see. Until I can see the pin come through the back. And I know it's engaged with the back of the body of the spindle carrier. There it is right there. I like that. I like it a lot. Nice work. Okay. And next, just put them on the card. This is right. No. This way. But it's right as I'm looking at the front of the car, perhaps. Yeah. Is that right? Hmm. Is this one backwards? I put this together backwards. No wonder it doesn't work. I put it together upside down. Smart guy. You know, it's funny. I actually said what to do and I did the opposite thing. Pretty smart guys. There's a reason. This is called Doofus's bench. Now, one thing we're pretty good at around here is making mistakes. Let's see, how do I get that drive pin out? Maybe. No, you can't get it out from the back. You just hope and pray. Maybe if I give a little tension and try to twist it. I mean, yeah. That got me a grip on it. Get the other one out too. Yeah, I totally said what to do and I did the opposite thing. All right. Let's try this again the right way. Jeez. Wicked smart. They leave that opening on the back just for you to be able to see when your drive pin comes through or that pin comes through. Fancy. All right, now it should be right. What a joke I am. It should set right in the end of the arm. And we'll drive these through, not with shoulder nuts, but with flat ones. These hinge pins, or these hinge bolts, whatever you call these. I guess they're hinge pins. I think these are the same hinge pins we use on our racers. If so, they're pretty sturdy. I've never had to replace one. All right. Hinge pin. not. Nice. Very nice. So that gets us to the camber links in the front. Again, I like to use vice grips. These things are easier to start. They tell you to use some grease or chapstick on the threads. I don't necessarily think it's necessary. Does that work? Again, I mostly just use these to hold the piece steady, not like actually really grip it too hard. Again, watch your threads. One side's right-handed, one side's left. I just like to push it on and get it started. Get a couple of threads bite, and then, it's just twist on from there. Use a driver to twist that down. We'll probably leave some threads exposed, and then we can measure it from length. This one will be left-handed thread. Oh. And then measure it. They tell you to run 68 millimeters. 68. That's like the whole thing. Okay. No threads. Like no threads either side. Right? Yeah. 68. Yep. Stick that there. This first one looks like it is left-handed. Yeah. No threads this time. There. Let's try that. Good enough. And then we'll press those ball ends in. Oops. I use this Tekno wrench. Works pretty well. You can use either spot, and you just give it a little bit of a squeeze. Sometimes you work the end a little bit. These ball ends are nice. They are steel, and the old ones used to wear. These are really nice. I like them a lot. Now we go screw through the flat lock nuts, it looks like. Make sure you get your dog bone into the drive cup. And it doesn't look like it matters inside or outside on these, but the notch on the camber link should always face the left of the car. They have us go into the outside holes as a stock, I guess. And they have the screw going in from the front. Oh, come on. Now, these are challenging to get in, huh? Is there a way? An easy way? Or is one end different than the other? No. That one goes. Is one end different than the other? It is. I should have paid attention, huh? 052 and 053. They are certainly. Now they do say slightly shorter than, so I should have paid better attention. That's okay. We just have to pop one out of either end and replace that. The short side, these are both short. I want to go left, short. So left, short. Yeah. And these should be reversed. Right? Right. Pretty sure. Right. That should do. So now, let's do this again. This time, we have the short one on the outside. Nut goes on the back. It looks like it'll actually get into the plastic, so we won't even need a nut driver here. We could just use the plastic. Nice. And they have us putting the inside link in the top position, middle position. And we'll go middle position through there, through the washer. No, through the washer first, then the link, then the nut. Right? Right. Again, the screw should be in the front, outside. Sides. All right, longer screw. Again, make sure you get your dog bone in the outdrive cup. I'm going to keep that there. Otherwise, you have to come back and do this again. So screw there, washer. Link end. Shoulder nut. Flange nut. Whatever you want to call that. That gets us to bag G. We have a front end. There is optional sway bar links that you can install here, though the sway bars will run up through these two holes and connect on your arms there. Our race cars, we use them a ton. Monster trucks, totally optional. You can use them or not. I tend to put a sway bar on just to, make it a little bit more thrashable, but, you can do what you like there. But that's really nice. I like these spindle ends. These are nice. They look to be really solid, much more so than the previous monster truck, the MT410, the 1.0, I guess, MT410 that I have. I'll bring that in and do a little bit of a comparison for everybody too when we get here to the end. Okay, so that's it for bag F. Look forward to bag G. That'll be coming up next, and we'll start to get this thing together and get it steering. All right, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.